I've been really feeling this Scorpio season pretty intensely, and I wanted to share some of the things that have been coming up for me through meditation, through intentional movement, really putting words to the things that I've been feeling and really speaking to what I think the collective feeling is and what I believe is happening energetically for all of us. I do pray that this message finds the right people, and I do pray that you take something away from this. As a reminder, I am literally just a soul experiencing this human life just like you. I, if anything, am a mirror for you. I am a channel for you. And the goal is for you to just take what resonates and feel with your body the words that I'm sharing with you. And yeah, I hope that this helps you or provides guidance for you in some way. All right, let's get into it. So, I think the major themes of this Scorpio season, right off the dome would be rebirth. But I believe that there are a few other terms that are connected to rebirth and that actual process. And these terms can probably better describe the feeling of the process of that rebirth. One of those terms being this desire for embodiment, this feeling of resistance when it comes to attempting to embody this new version of ourselves, to bring into fruition this new life that we've been expecting. And I think that all of that honestly stems from this massive energetic purge that is happening within us. For many of us, we have been kind of forced to face some of the darker aspects of our shadow these last few weeks. For me personally, a lot of things have come up in meditation. A lot of visions have come up when I'm in yoga practice. And the general feeling that I've had when experiencing these emotions, when having these visions, honestly has been frustration, because I spent this last year and a half, like literally purging as much as I possibly could. I went to the deepest, darkest depths of my soul when it came to exploring my shadow, because I knew that I was being called to go inward. I knew I was being called to sit with God and to let the Holy Spirit remove, all of the blocks that were disconnecting me from God, from hearing God clearly. And those blocks came in the form of just trauma induced habits, bad decisions, regrets and resentment, the unwillingness to forgive others and to forgive myself, things like that. And so while I feel like a completely new person, and while I can still empathize with the girl that I was a year ago, and I still, I see her and I love her and I have nothing but compassion for her, who I am today doesn't align with that person anymore. And so when these old feelings and these experiences are coming up, these things that I've, worked through, it's very frustrating because I don't feel connected to those things anymore. That frustration in itself has led to this sort of resistance, right? So I'm sharing this with you because I feel like many of you may be in a similar boat where you feel this sort of need for momentum, right? I think that this full moon in Taurus has really activated us and gotten us focused on our money, our finances, or just bringing our dreams into the material. I think a lot of us have grown on a soul level, on a mental level, on an emotional level. We've grown tremendously this past year, but it hasn't necessarily fully shown up in our physical reality yet. And I think many of us are frustrated by that because it's like, what more do I need to do? Like, I've done all the things, I'm taking all of the steps. What I'm realizing though is that everything serves its purpose. And I think we all know at this point that everything is connected. And so instead of seeing these feelings that are coming up about things that have happened in our past, about things that we've actively worked through as a negative thing, as a sign of failure, as a sign of us not having progressed. Instead, we should look at these feelings and these experiences and these messages that are coming up for us honestly as a sort of, what is the word? As a as something to reflect on. So, you know how when you're in school, you get grades, right? So, you take your math test at the beginning of the year and you got a C, and then by the end of the year, you're at a B plus or you're at an A, and you have these physical markers that essentially have shown you how much you've grown and how much work you put in to get to that place. The visions and the feelings that are coming up for you right now are not necessarily an indicator of you not having progressed in your spiritual journey, or that you are holding yourself back in any way, or that you are choosing to stay in a stagnant energy. Really, what this is showing you is that you've actually grown tremendously, and we're being called to reflect on that during this time. When we talk about Scorpio season and we talk about rebirth and, the death of things, the death of an old identity, the death of relationships, the purging and the release of the old in order to move into the new, we have to remember that even if we may feel like we are already in the new, that we are ready for the new, that sometimes the old needs to come up to remind us why we need to be grateful for the new, to remind us that we are actually ready and capable for the new. I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling a little bit of anxiety. I've been feeling this energy of restlessness. And part of that anxiety is coming from this deeper knowing that everything I've ever wanted is coming into fruition. I don't know the exact timeline, but I know that it's soon. And that has actually been very scary to my subconscious. And it's not from a space of feeling as if I don't deserve it. It's from this space of feeling like, I worked my ass off for this. I know I deserve this. However, it is still something that is new. And there does feel like this fear that maybe I won't be able to sustain the blessings that I've asked for, that I know are already mine, right? And so when now looking at these experiences that are coming up, looking at them from this perspective of, I'm feeling anxious because I'm afraid that I may not be able to sustain the things that are coming, I can look at my past self and be like, you went through, losing your primary source of income, getting fired from a job. You went through losing, someone that you really loved. I went through all of these things, and all of these things that I felt like I would never be able to overcome. And I did it. And so why is it that I feel so much resilience when it comes to overcoming the bad things, but I feel fear when it comes to embracing the good things that I'm worthy of, that I've worked for, right? So look at, these feelings that are coming up, these triggers, these past memories and experiences that are coming up for you. See it as just a spiritual indicator of how far you've come and how far you've grown. At the end of the day, we are in control of our emotions. We are in control of how we let things affect us and how we interact with them and how we react to them. And so you don't want to give your power away to something that you don't even really feel connected to like you once did before. Yes, it's inconvenient, but overall, it's just showing you how much you've grown, how much you've progressed. And leaning into this energy allows us to show even more gratitude for all of the things that are coming and all of the things that are happening in the present moment. So if you are feeling this anxiety and this restlessness, what I would recommend for you is to sit in stillness and to choose presence. And that doesn't always necessarily mean, actually sitting in meditation, because I know that can be challenging for people. What it does mean, though, is giving your body and your mind and your spirit grace to actually let these inconvenient messages come through so you can understand what you're meant to learn from them. Maybe there are a few things that you still haven't fully healed from or haven't fully forgiven. Maybe these things are coming up because now you can see that you are fully detached from this. Maybe someone else who is connected in that experience is in their own process of purging it and feeling all of it when you've already surpassed it. But that doesn't mean that you two aren't linked in some way. And maybe you're feeling these things because they're feeling those things. That doesn't mean it's you. Right now in this moment, we're actually being taught and programmed to fine tune our discernment, to fine tune what is really us and what are the things that in the past we were influenced by the energies that we let affect us. So I would recommend getting familiar with stillness and getting familiar with how your body feels during this time. For me personally, I've always been someone that was very cerebral. I'm an air sign, I'm a Gemini, so just very in my head. I felt very disconnected from my body for a very, very long time. I am going to share something personal with you. I do want to give a trigger warning here because it is something that is related to SA. So, being someone who is very in my mind and very cerebral, I really struggled with valuing my body. I would look at her and I'd be like, yeah, she's nice. Or I would, have moments where I would critique her, but I don't know. I just didn't really understand that my body was anything more than a vehicle to get me around. Right. Completely ignoring the fact that most of my wisdom comes from there. I believe that all my wisdom came from my mind and the things that I learned and studied. So the other day when I was in practice, I decided to do a sacral awakening practice, right? I wanted to get in touch with that energy because I was experiencing some creative blocks, and I know that those two things are connected. So I did some hip opening exercises, and while I was in practice, I had visions. I had visions of my first sexual partner, and that relationship in a nutshell was very tumultuous, very toxic, emotionally abusive, all of these things. And at the time, when I would engage in that activity with that partner, my body really was not responding well to it. I was younger. I didn't really know what it was supposed to feel like. And I do remember just feeling this general feeling of not feeling safe with that person, but I didn't have the words to articulate it. I just knew something was off, but I didn't respect my body enough or really understand. Yeah, no, I just didn't really respect my body enough and the wisdom that it carried to listen, right? So what I failed to realize these last couple years, I don't know, a decade, it's been a decade, but is that experience of me giving my body permission to kind of do what she wanted and then her putting me in an unsafe position, I subconsciously made my body the enemy. And I told her whatever you feel, whatever comes up for you, it's not valid and it's not real because you put yourself in a position to be hurt by someone. So I can't trust you. Your opinion and what you feel isn't safe. What's real is here in my mind, and that's the only thing I'm going to listen to. And so, as you can imagine, that disconnection from my body and from feeling impacted me in so many different ways, whether that was in friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships, stunting my creativity in certain ways because I just was my body is my enemy, and I just don't trust her, and I don't see the value in her, and I just couldn't. And so I bring this up to basically say that our bodies literally carry so much wisdom. And at this time when there's all of this purging and there's all of this like emotional energy moving through us, it's important that we release it and find healthy ways to transmutate it. And sometimes it's not just sitting in silence and doing a meditation. Sometimes it's through physical movement, like working out, going for a walk, dancing, calling in joy. Like these are all spiritual practices that will not only like give your body permission to feel through what it needs to and to release it, but also it's a way to call in the energy that you actually want to be feeling. For me, aside from yoga right now, dance has been a very powerful spiritual tool for me for transmutation, a way to, you know, feel where my body is experiencing friction, like if I feel it in my hips or if I feel it in my shoulders or in my back, and move my body in an intentional way that allows me to move that energy around, breathing deeply to release that energy. And now I'm in this space of flow and this kind of like empty energy where I'm not really thinking of anything. I'm just kind of like a blank canvas and I'm just in the moment and I'm present. And then out of nowhere, you know, I'm listening to this song and the energy of the song is pouring through me. And now I'm in this state of joy. Now I'm in this state of inspiration, creativity, flow, right? So, yeah, I say all of this to say that, you know, presence and stillness can come in various forms. And I think right now, you know, in this full moon energy of Taurus, today I'm filming this, it's the 11/11 portal in the middle of Scorpio season, you know, we are being called more than ever to feel it through and to not feel shame or anger or frustration about the things that we're feeling through. And it's okay if those feelings come up, but I think you are at a point where you understand that all of these emotions are serving a purpose and you have the power to transmutate them and to work through them. So for anyone that has been feeling that restless energy, I just wanted to share this with you, that we are in this purge and we are in this energetic upheaval because all of these things that we've worked on, all of these things that are meant to be released or that we have already released but are being reminded of, it's just a reminder that those things can't come with us. It's a reminder of your inner power, your inner resolve, your inner resilience. It's a reminder of how far you've come. And not only is that meant to build courage and confidence in yourself to know that you can hold and sustain and expand all of the beautiful blessings that are coming into your life in this next season, but it's also to remind you of how far you've come and that you are deserving of it and that you are worthy of it. So, yeah, I hope you guys took something positive away from this video. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.